Hey, welcome back to Streamline Entertainment. We're going to be talking about Russell Brand, the allegations. What is the star accused of, and how has he responded? Russell Brand, we know he's a comedian. We know that, he's sometimes a little bit over the top, but he is a funny guy and an actor. So let's get into the allegations. So Russell Brand is facing allegations of sexual assault during the height of his fame as part of an investigation by the Sunday Times, the Times, and Channel 4's Dispatches program. The allegations date back to 2006 and 2013, but the actor and comedian has denied any wrongdoing, blaming the mainstream media for litany of astonishing, rather barrack attacks. Since the claims were published, more women have come forward with allegations about how he has treated them. The latest allegation, which the newspaper says have not been investigated but will now be rigorously checked. Metropolitan Police have responded to the accusation, saying it encourages victims of sexual assault to contact the force. A spokeswoman said, "We are aware of media reporting of a series of allegations of sexual assault at this time. We have not received any reports in relation to this. If anyone believes they have been a victim of sexual assault, no matter how long ago it happened, we would encourage them to contact the police." But what has Russell Brand been accused of? Here is everything you need to know about the allegations against the actor and comedian. Brand has been accused of rape, sexual assault and emotional abuse in 4 women, while others have accused him of predatory behaviour. This is quite serious. It is quite serious at the end of the day, and for more than one woman to actually come forward, it's pretty serious. Sometimes you get maybe someone coming forward who's looking for money, who is being seen with, but when you get more than one woman come out, and it seems like it's more than 2, there's definitely something in it which has got to be taken seriously. Most of the women in the investigations have not been named, and their identities are protected. One woman has accused Brand of raping her without a condom against her will. Or in Los Angeles' home, she says Brand attempted to stop her from leaving until she told him she was going to the bathroom. The woman is said to have been treated at a rape crisis centre on the same day, which the Times says has confirmed via medical records. Most women have accused Russell Brand of assault, have not been named, and their identities have been protected under law. That's fair enough. The Times said she later texted him after the alleged attack to say, "When a girl says no, it means no," to which Brand sent an apology text back. Another woman in the UK claimed that the Brand assaulted her when he was 31 and she was aged just 16 and still at school. One of the first dates, she claimed he asked her to confirm she was 16, adding, "I don't give a fuck if you are 12. I just need to know where I stand legally." She claims that he referred to her as a child during the emotionally abusive relationships and said he engaged in the behaviours of a groomer. A third woman claims that Brand sexually assaulted her while she was working with him in Los Angeles. She claimed that she repeatedly told Brand to get off her and said he became super angry after he gave in and threatened to take legal action if she told anyone about the encounter. A fourth complainant allegedly being sexually assaulted by Brand in the UK and has accused him of being physically and emotionally abusive. So there seems to be a bit of a trend there between that and 4 women who's actually saying something. One woman has been named by the Times, is Brand's former personal assistant in 2006. Helen Berger claimed she was Brand showing intimate photographs of a woman to his friends. She said It made me feel really sick in my stomach. There are women who aren't expected to be shown to the dude's friends. Of course, that's fair enough. Since Brand was accused of rape and sexual assault, more women have come forward with allegations. The Times and Sunday Times claim several women have come forward with undisclosed allegations about Brand behaviour during the early 2000s in wake of their joint investigation. Sources told the Sunday Times that his behaviour was an open secret in radio and TV productions. The newspaper claimed that TV researchers and runners working on the Channel 4 shows with Brand alleged that he would get staff to approach young female audience members to try to meet up with them after filming. One runner claimed that Brand flashes his penis to her and she walked into his dressing room and implied that she'd give him oral sex. The latest allegation, which the newspaper says have not been investigated but will now be rigorously checked. The BBC now also facing urgent questions after it was claimed that Brand 48 used his company provided car service to pick up a girl from school. Phew, that's not good. It comes as both BBC and Channel 4 have launched internal investigations into the separate accusations of predatory behaviour by Brands towards staff and audience members during the time of his employment. And we know that the BBC have been in the front pages for a lot of things like this. And to come up again, it's not good, especially for them. Channel 4 has since removed all the programmes linked to Brand from its website, including episodes of The Great British Bake Off and Big Brother's Big Mouth, in which he was featured. The Daily Telegraph reported Netflix has since been urged to remove his comedy special titled Rebirth, Ari Birth, from its streaming catalogue. How has Russell Brand responded to the allegations? On Friday, the day before the investigations was aired, Brand shared 2-minute-long videos denying all allegations across his social media platforms. So it looks like he's denying it and going to fight it. He denied serious criminal allegations and claimed his relationships were absolutely always consensual. He said in the midst the litany of astonishing, rather barrack attacks are some very serious allegations that I absolutely refute, he said in the video. These allegations pertain to the time when I was working in the mainstream, when I was in the newspaper all the time, and I was in the movie. As I've written about extensively in my books, I was very, very promiscuous. Now, during that time of promiscuity, the relationships I had were absolutely always consensual. Here's a video of his I'm just going to play.
It's this litany of astonishing, rather baroque attacks are some very serious allegations that I absolutely refute. These allegations pertain to the time when I was working in the mainstream, when I was in the newspapers all the time, when I was in the movies, and as I've written about extensively in my books, I was very, very promiscuous. Now, during that time of promiscuity, the relationships I had were absolutely always consensual. I was always transparent about that then, almost too transparent. And I'm being transparent about it now as well. And to see that transparency metastasized into something criminal that I absolutely deny makes me question, is there another agenda at play? It's this.
Look, we've seen a lot of famous people being accused for things, but like I said, he's just got to prove himself, see what his lawyers are saying, and to see whether he's convicted or not. It's the same with Andrew Tate. It's exactly the same sort of scenario. We have to see what evidence comes out first about this. At the end of the day, we can't just say, oh, Brand's guilty at the end of the day, but you've got to look at when more than 4 people are saying something, more than 4, there's got to be something in it. We're going to continue on. The comedian then claimed that he was a victim of coordinated attack. Just hours after the allegations were published, Brand performed a comedy gig to 2,000 people at Troubadour Wembley Park Theatre in northwest London as part of his bipolarisation tour. Brand did not directly addressed the allegation but told the audience he wanted to talk about things that he could not. That's fair enough. I'm going to go straight into a video. It's also Piers Morgan's Andrew Sachs' granddaughter Georgina Baille reacts to Russell Brand's allegation, talking to Piers Morgan. So I'll comment as you go, but obviously now this has become world news. So I always think it's good to discuss it on both parties. But like I said, I think the allegations are pretty serious. I always think when it's more than one people, I'm not judge, jury, but I think when it's more than one person, there's always something in it. But let's listen to the video and I'll comment as we go.
Piers Morgan Uncensored. Saxgate was the scandal that made Russell Brand notorious. Georgina Baille, the granddaughter of Fawlty Towers star Andrew Sachs, was in a relationship with Brand when she was 20 and he was 30. Brand was fired after he and his BBC Radio 2 co-host Jonathan Ross left vulgar messages on Andrew Sachs' voicemail, bragging that Brand had slept with his granddaughter.
Look, Andrew Sachs, I've got respect for you and your lineage and progeny. Never let that be questioned.
Don't hint.
I wasn't hinting! Why did that come across as a hint?
Because you know what you're doing now.
Now, when you were doing...
It's a granddaughter!
Andrew Sachs, I did not do nothing with Georgina. Oh no, I've revealed I know her name! Oh no, it's a disaster!
Well, the BBC received more than 40,000 complaints. Radio 2's controller quit over the scandal and Brand was fired. I'm joined in the studio now by Andrew Sachs' granddaughter, Georgina Baille. Georgina, I can see you almost recoiling in horror listening to that again. Because I remember listening to that and thinking, A, I thought it was disgusting, and B, I couldn't believe that it had been edited and put out.
I mean, we know Russell Brand says a lot of things which people would take offence to. I think he's pretty open about sort of who he is and the way he lives his life and stuff, because he is pretty out there. And he's another one sometimes, like a little bit like Andrew Tate. He sometimes doesn't think before he talks and can get himself in trouble. And like things can come out from your past to haunt you and maybe get you into trouble like it is now.
Yeah. It wasn't live. This had been taped and then put out by the BBC.
Exactly.
What was it like for you to be caught in that storm?
Well, it wasn't pleasant. I was very young at the time. I was 23 years old when the story broke, and it was a very unnerving time because not only have my grandparents heard about what I've been up to sexually, which anybody would recoil
Horrible,
at,
yeah.
but then it's all the boys will be boys attitude and like, oh, isn't it funny? She's a anyway, so like, who cares? So that was their only line of defense, is to sort of slut shame me, basically.
Obviously their behaviour was appalling and everyone agreed with that. How did Russell treat you when you were actually in a relationship?
Well, first of all, I wouldn't consider me and Russell having been in a relationship. Right. We had like a sort of friends with benefits type situation, which was fine in my early 20s. And he was always very nice to me.
Fair enough. Obviously, Georgina, I think she was straight down the line. She was young at the time. She probably saw Russell Brand as a bit of a superstar. She was an attractive young lady. They got together. It wasn't that serious. That's fair enough at the end of the day. But like I said, sometimes to share the relationship details with other people and Georgina's family is a little bit out of order. That's a little bit below the belt.
It was very clear what the parameters of the relationship were, and that was mutually agreed upon, and never did anything untoward happen.
And he later, right, and obviously that came and that was shocking, but later, a few years later, he did actually help pay for you to go through rehab. Yes,
exactly. So I was struggling with addiction for about 10, 15 years, and I was finding it very hard to get clean and sober. So one of my mutual friends between me and Russell called him up and said, George, you need some help. And so he sent me to rehab, and I was physically separated from my drug of choice, and I got some therapy, and I think that had a big part to play in my recovery journey. And he looked me in the eyes and he made his amends to me, which is what we do in recovery. We have to make amends to people.
What did he say to you?
He just acknowledged that it was a private relationship and it shouldn't have been made public, and that at the time he had 2 daughters, and I think that it really made him grow and change. And I felt it was genuine. I felt that he was sorry.
So we cut for this was 2018. So we cut.
Fair enough. Look, everyone makes mistakes, and I do think sometimes Russell Brand have made a lot of them at the end of the day. But I think he does a lot of good things. Some of his shows and what he thinks what's going on in the world, I think he's pretty out there and pretty honest. He may think it's government attack on him, or someone wants him out of the picture because of some of the stuff he's been saying. He could be right, but like I said, I think these allegations need to be looked into thoroughly, and it needs to be resolved before he carries on with his work, whether it's on YouTube, whether it's on BBC, whether it's on Channel 4, whether it's on Sky or any other channel.
Forward 5 years, now he's all over the front pages of every paper as an alleged rapist and sexual abuser. What was your reaction when you first heard about this?
So initially, first of all, I have been a survivor of sexual abuse, okay? And I will always believe victims, because why wouldn't you?
Would you always believe accusers?
Accusers, it depends. I wasn't in the room, we weren't in the room. We don't know what happened there. But my initial thought was, oh my God, I'm glad I'm not Russell, because it's behavior that he was doing when he wasn't well. So when you're an addict, you can cross addict. So if you're not working a program, he explained this to me when he made his amends, you can be off booze and drugs, but if you're not working a program, you can be acting out on a sex addiction or a food addiction. And he wasn't working a program, and as an addict in recovery, I know that he wasn't well. So I have to...
But that doesn't justify rape and sexual assault.
It does not.
If indeed that is what he did. I mean, I've only read what I've read. I've seen the Dispatch's program. They are disturbing allegations,
Absolutely.
But they are allegations. Do you recognise the person described in these reports?
No, I don't. But I'm not saying that they're lies, because
look, I'm in the same predicament that when quite a few women are actually saying something which is coming out as recent at the end of the day. Some are saying they didn't consent to sex, which is rape. There's a few stories. If it was just one person saying it, you may say, hey, someone's looking for money at the end of the day, because these are pretty. It's just not looking good at the present moment. But like I said, we're just going to have to leave it to the lawyers, the courts, the legal system, to get to the bottom of it, what happened. Because I think Russell Brand's got a lot of fans. A lot of people may say, hey, look, I don't think he would have done it. Georgina said that he was a pretty good guy. He's helped her out a few times, which is fair enough. But like I said, we just don't know. Because obviously there's two sides to every story.
It was a long time ago. We all, and I think they should be believed, and get some help, because part of the recovery program is you must make amends for these things, and that's what he did to me, and hopefully he'll do the same for the others.
But you're presuming he's guilty.
I wouldn't say that. I would say that I'm taking it in with a pinch of salt, maybe, for want of a better word.
Would it not be better now if this becomes a police investigation to try and determine whether these allegations are in fact,
of course,
legally sound?
Of course, yeah.
Have you spoken to Russell about any of this?
No, I haven't.
Do you want to call him? Do you feel that way, or do you want to keep out of it?
To be honest, all I've got is my own truth, and yeah, I don't know what I would say to him. Really.
I mean, it's an odd journey you've been with him. He sort of ruined. Well, you had a nice time with him, then he sort of ruined your life for a bit. Then he saved your life potentially by helping you with the rehab. It's been quite a journey between the two of you.
Yeah, it's been.
What are your feelings towards him today?
Well, I feel like he was a different person during those times. He was young and stupid, and as was I.
This is my point. He's made a lot of mistakes. He's upset a lot of people in the past. At that time, he was always in the news for different things, good and bad. At the end of the day, but I do think his heart's in the right place. And like I said, he's got kids as well now, so it's going to be interesting to see where this goes. At the end of the day, I'm going to be honest. It wouldn't surprise me if he's done something wrong, but on the other hand, there's a lot of people looking for payouts and money and shout rape because it's someone famous. You know, we get it sometimes at the end of the day. Do you know what I mean? We've had a footballer whose missus said he treated her badly, beat her and sexually abused her. And then when it was time to go to the court case, at the end of the day, she didn't, and now they're still together living in another country. So, look, it's swings and roundabouts, but these allegations must be taken seriously.
And things would have been done differently now, I think. Slut shaming was totally fine back then. And so I was an easy target, but sorry, what was the question?
Well, just what your thoughts towards him are right now.
I want him to continue on his path of recovery, and when he makes a mistake, make an amends. That's what we do.
At the moment, he's categorically denied these allegations.
I hear that. Yeah.
But when you read the reports, you think there may be merit to what these girls are saying, these women are saying.
I, from my own personal experience, do not see Russell as a rapist. However, a lot of the evidence is very compelling, so one has to keep an open mind.
What do you do now?
This is my point. You've got to be open-minded about it at the end of the day. But like I said, when I keep saying it, when one more person comes forward, someone else comes forward, at the end of the day, and you always got to look at where these people were, where Russell Brand was working. At the end of the day, there has to be something in there, dates, times at the end of the day. So it is quite serious, and it should be taken very, very seriously. If he does something wrong, then they should throw the book at him for that. But like I said, this could actually ruin his career as well. But if he's done something wrong, he's got to do the time as well. Simple.
Your life.
Oh, that's a big question.
Yeah.
So I'm an artist. I paint mainly, and I do big commissions for people. And I also am an actress, and I had the lead role in a play 2 years ago. And also I have a little TV series called Fanny Business, in which I play a 50s housewife who's a bit insane.
And you I hope you don't mind me saying, you said you've been clean now for a number of years.
I've been clean and sober for three and a half years. I'll be turning 4 on February 16th.
So you're in a good place.
I would say so.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad to hear that, because I think what you went through in that Saxgate scandal was
it was
horrific.
a bit rubbish. Yeah.
I thought it was just a terrible way to treat a young woman. It really was, and very unacceptable. So I'm glad to see you doing well, and best of luck to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
It's good to see you.
So that's the end of the video, and all we can do now is just wait and see where Russell Brand takes this and how far this goes, because it's going to be investigated. A lot of his shows have been taken off air, or I know YouTube have demonetized him for now. So things are pretty serious until this investigation's over. It's like sometimes false allegations can actually ruin careers. They're never the same, even if you're found guilty. The same with Andrew Tate, that's still ongoing as well. So it's going to be interesting to see where this goes. Anyway, let me know your thoughts on what you think, whether you think my views on it were right or wrong. And don't forget to subscribe to Streamline Entertainment and follow the channel. Thanks a lot, folks. And that's it.